Woo! Wrenching again. Let it be something good. Alright, today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite ways to fish offshore. That's vertical jigging or speed jigging, whichever one you want to call it. I started doing it about 15 years ago when Shimano first introduced it. Took it off a kayak, went off of Palm Beach, and I've been in love with it ever since. But what I'm going to talk to you about today is a way that you can increase your strikes double to triple what you're getting just using an ordinary jig. First of all, you got to realize what these jigs are. They're pieces of metal. You drop them to the bottom and you rip them off the bottom, and you kind of almost walk in the dog straight up. And what that causes is a reaction strike. A reaction strike is when these fish see this lure darting off the bottom. It looks like a bait fish, and it's away from the reef, it's going up, and it really does cause a reaction strike. Fish hit it hard, they hit it fast. You can get hit near the bottom, you can hit all the way up to the top. So, great method of fishing. But like I say, it's nothing more than a hunk of steel shooting through the water. The fish really don't have a chance to look at it very long, and for that reason you get that reaction strike. Now, so how can you improve on that? Well, I've fished from everything from the Shimano jigs all the way to a wrench. A wrench, same thing, it's shooting off the bottom. The fish really don't have that chance to look at it. So what I've done with these jigs to help it really increase the chances of hooking up is that I tip them. I do the same thing the inshore guys use. The inshore guys have been tipping jigs for years, adding scent, whether it be a piece of shrimp, a piece of gulp, whatever it may be. Now think of it, you're inshore. There's a lot of smells in that water for the fish to smell. Some good, some bad. You know, there's a lot in there. It's kind of like being in the city. You go in the city, you go by a barbecue place in the city. You know, when you walk by it, you'll smell it. But if you're 100 yards away, chances are you won't even notice it's there. Now, if you go out into the country, which is like the ocean, and you go by a barbecue place, you can smell that for miles. That scent just goes through the air. Out in the ocean, you got a lot of clean water. Adding scent to one of these vertical jigs can be the difference between you catching a fish and not. I've literally taken these jigs, dropped them down in 180 feet of water, had this up to around 90 feet of water, and hooked grouper and snapper. Now these grouper and snapper chased it off the bottom, you know, all the way up 90 feet. And once I hook them in 90 feet, there's a good chance they're not going to get back down to that 180 feet to take me in the rocks. So that's the advantage of it. So several different ways to tip these jigs. One way, you take a sardine, a chunk of ladyfish, whatever it may be, and stick it on the hook. And just put it on there, you drop it down. And when you drop it down to the bottom, those little bait stealing fish will be all around that jig. They'll smell that. And so as you're working that jig off the bottom, you're going to have a lot of little fish around it, which attracts the big fish. When they see not just the metal jig going up, but a lot of fish chasing it, that's a big thing. They'll come over and check it out. And once they catch that scent of that jig and realize there's scent to it, it's game on, man. They're chasing it down. So a piece of sardine or a piece of whatever kind of bait. You might have a dead gog in your bait well. Save it, cut it up in chunks, put it on your jig, drop it down there. I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference. One of my favorite baits to use as far as tipping is a Berkeley gulp. What I like about these Berkeley gulps, I can take that gulp and slide it. I get the curly tail ones, you could use the shrimp. I slide it right up on the hook. You slide it right up on the hook and it's streamlined, it holds on there, and those bait stealers have a lot harder time getting that piece of gulp off than they would a chunk. A chunk of bait, a lot of times I bring it up, it's gone. That gulp might be chewed up a little bit, but generally it's still on there. And it's a lot more streamlined, so it really doesn't affect the action of the jig. So tip your jigs with gulps or whatever bait you have, drop it down there. and see what happens. I guarantee you, you guys are going to get a lot more hookups. Whether it be grouper, snapper, blackfin tuna, or kingfish. Adding scent to these jigs can make a huge difference. So that's my tip of the week. What I'd like you to do, if you're a vertical jigger, whether you fish out of a power boat or you fish out of a kayak or paddleboard, go out there and try it. See if it does make a difference, and let me know. Go ahead, put a little comment here on the on my YouTube, and let me know whether it worked or not. And that is my tip of the week. And I've tried it; it does work. So get out there, take your jigs, try a little tip, a little bait on it, and see what happens. This is Peter Hink. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel. You'll get updates every week. And so get out there and catch some fish, and thank you for watching.